Well, here we are again on another Friday fishing forecast. It seems like it's a repeat every single week. We have another front coming through right now. It's Friday afternoon. The wind is blowing. I actually had to drive over the Skyway and they had high wind advisories going on. There was solid 3-footers out there at least. It was just nasty. I think tomorrow, what it's looking like, it's going to blow 10 to 20 out of the northeast, about the same direction it is now. So it's going to be just as ugly tomorrow. The only difference is there's going to be sun. That's about it. So Chad and I have made a decision that we're going to go on Sunday. And Sunday's supposed to calm down a little bit and then get really calm by the afternoon. So that's what we're hoping for. It's just tough this time of year. It's just one of those things. I was able to get out on Monday, and then I had a business meeting / fishing meeting with a company on Wednesday, and it was absolutely beautiful out there. And we killed the fish. I did not film that day simply because it was business talk and it wasn't time to film. But we killed it. I mean, we caught probably 70, 80 fish easy, and we left them biting. It was just an incredible bite that day. We went to one spot that didn't produce, and other than that, we had a really good day. So, going into that, let's go ahead and talk about the tides and Solunars. So let's go ahead and talk about Saturday. On Saturday, we have a low tide in the morning at 7:04, and it's a negative 0.53. Now, if you're going to try to stick inshore, that's a great tide to go out and look and try to find some new areas. Now, when I drove across the Fort DeSoto area and those areas over there were relatively pretty calm. So if you want to go out and fish, and if the only day you can go out and fish is on Saturday, I would go out and look in those areas with those negative low tides, because it's going to really funnel the fish into those deeper holes. Then we have a high tide that's coming in till 1:59, and it's going to be a 1.08. So it's going to be some pretty good movement on that high tide. And then the tide turns and goes out very slowly till 6:04, and it goes down to a 0.74. So you're getting 0.3 of a foot of movement over 5 hours. Well, about 4 hours. So it's not a lot of movement. So if you're going to attempt grouper and snapper, which I don't recommend, that would be a good tide to look for. Now let's talk about Sunday's tides. There's a low tide at 7:32 a.m. and it's a 0.46 negative. Then we have a high tide at 2:06 p.m. at 1.12, and then a low tide at 6:48, which is a 0.58. So it's moving a little bit more on Sunday on that outgoing tide, but not a ton. And the wind is supposed to lay down, so it might be pretty good bite on Sunday afternoon. I'm expecting it to be. I'm just not quite sure how the fish are going to react, because it's going to get pretty cold on Saturday morning. It's going to be really cold, like 42 degrees here in Ruskin, so that's cold for here. Now let's go ahead and talk about the Solunars. On Saturday, we have a major from 12:09 to 2:09, so that's coinciding with that tide starting to slack out on the incoming tide at the very top of the tide. So that's, if you're going to be out fishing, that's going to be a good time to fish on Saturday. And the minors are at 6:37 a.m. to 7:37 a.m., so it's pretty early in the morning. And then we have a major, or another minor at 5:42 to 6:42 p.m. Now let's talk about Sunday Solunars. There's a major feeding time from 12:54 to 2:54, again coinciding with that slacking off of that high incoming tide. And then there's a minor from 7:15 to 8:15 a.m. And then there's another minor from 6:36 to 7:36 p.m. Well, that does it for the majors and the minors and the tidal situation for this weekend. Now, the wind is going to affect the tide of how far it goes out. With that east-northeast wind and northeast wind, it actually will push more water out of the bay. So remember that. So it's going to be lower than what's projected. And the winds do affect these tides quite a bit. If people haven't noticed, these times are not exact, and they will never be exact because of the winds and different aspects of the moons and everything else. So I think tomorrow's lows and Sunday's lows are going to be lower than expected. Again, I love those low tides in the wintertime. So again, I wouldn't recommend going out on Saturday unless you can get tucked away somewhere out of the wind. Sunday looks like it's going to be the better day, and that's the day that Chad and I are going to go fishing. And I want to say again, thank you. The subscribership is going through the roof. We'll probably by the end of the weekend we should be at 8,900, so we'll be 100 away from our next giveaway. I'm going to touch base with Victor here probably this weekend to try to set something up. The weather still doesn't look real good for next weekend, but that's 7-10 days out, so we'll have to wait on that. But if you guys have any questions, you know how to get a hold of us. You can get a hold of us through Facebook or our YouTube or our website. If you haven't signed up for the giveaway, please go to the website and do it. It's right on the front page right there. And if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube, please go and subscribe there, because the more subscribers we're getting, the faster we get to those giveaways. So again, thank you very much for all of the support. It's been awesome. Still selling jig heads like crazy, and I want to put it out there. I put it out there in our last video and I got some response back. But let us know if you're interested in the color orange and green for the swing jigs. I've had a lot of people, not a lot, but some people mention that they would buy those. So if you think that that might be something that you would want to buy, let me know and I'll start making those in those colors. Again, thanks and good luck this weekend.